So this June has been absolutely packed with announcements thanks to the Summer's Game Fest and all the other showcases like the Future Direct, Xbox Direct. We had the Outer Worlds Direct. Like there was a lot of directs this past weekend, and if you blinked even a single sweet time, you actually might have missed some truly massive reveals for us RPG fans out there. So right now, what I want to do is actually showcase 8 big ones. Like there's some nice, pretty big RPGs that were announced for the weekend. I want to break it down for you today's episode. So let's dive right in. So of course we have 2 games, return of fan favorites, kicking off our RPG roundup. Bandai Namco has surprised everyone at Summer's Game Fest with the official announcement of Code Vein 2, which is set to launch in 2026 for PS5, Xbox, and as well as PC. Now, from me actually live streaming the overall Summer's Games Fest and checking this out, the sequel promises to expand on the overall beloved anime-inspired post-apocalyptic world of the first game and just continue the tale of the Revenant struggling against the world on the brink of destruction. We will actually once again take on a role of a Revenant Hunter. Seems like a brand new Revenant Hunter from the first game that is being guided by another mysterious girl, which her entire look is absolutely crazy looking, and it seems like she can manipulate time just by looking at the trailer. And from just looking at the gameplay trailer overall, we can expect intense combat. There's the draining bloods feature as well, unlocking the powerful skills, get a little bit of deep character customization, and of course we get that partnered allies, which seems like that girl that we've seen in the trailer. But as right now, there's not too much information regarding Code Vein 2, so I will definitely keep this on my radar to see if any new information comes across. But from what I've read somewhere on some article I was reading about Code Vein 2 is that they are emphasizing a narrative that spans across 2 eras where players' decisions could carry some weight for the story. Now, don't quote me on that. Like I said, right now there's not too much information, but from some of the articles I was reading and overall just watching the overall trailer, it seems like there's a lot that they got going for Code Vein 2. And of course, to go alongside that, we have another challenging combat. We have Code Symmetry and Playstack have confirmed Mortal Shell 2. Now, overall, I really enjoyed Mortal Shell. It was a Souls-like game with such a different vibe and a different way that they did it. I love when developers take a genre and just try to spin it on its head and overall showcase a lot of new things, and that's what Mortal Shell gave us, right? But now we get Mortal Shell 2, the direct sequel, which is slated for 2026 release on PC as well as consoles. And this standalone sequel will significantly expand on the original's unique shell system, which basically, for some of you who are not aware, who have not played Mortal Shell 1, the shell system basically allowed you to take over any fallen warrior that had a specific ability, and it became your ability, which outright changed the entire way the game plays, because you won't have one singular class system. Your entire class changes depending on what warrior you picked up, what shell you picked up. But dev teams are promising a faster, more intense combat with deeper weapon customization and a compact, interconnected open world filled with over 60 or so dungeons. So they're going big and above and beyond. When you're looking at the gameplay trailer, it just showcases so much stuff that is going on that I'm like, man, this is actually pretty great. A lot of the ranged weapons, and there's a lot of enemies on screen, and the enemy design also looked absolutely crazy. They're going big and above and beyond. So we have a year before the sequel comes out, so I definitely can't wait to see that drop for us. So now we move on to a little bit of something different. This time we're focusing on a brand new expansion and as well as a new world. So next we move to some truly intriguing announcements. So Mundfish, the creators of the visually stunning Atomic Heart, have unveiled not only are we getting an Atomic Heart 2, but we are also getting a brand new MMORPG shooter that is set in the same retro-futuristic universe, and it's called Atomic Heart: The Cube. Now, this was revealed at the Summer's Game Fest, and overall, I was live streaming this, and I was like, dude, this is straight goon activity here. Atomic Heart has some we really love robots, mech waifus. That game is nothing but goon-tivity, bro. But overall, this is a standalone title as well, where it takes players inside of a giant, mysterious, floating cube, and overall, this cube is going to be shifting different environments. We get to battle with different enemies and bosses with all types of weaponry, definitely from the original game. and it seems like it's going to have its own narrative as well, because this is an MMO. But overall, like the way the game looked and just some of this, like we're going to get like that what we expected from Atomic Heart, and we're going to get that inside of the MMO. So I definitely cannot wait to see how this game is over time. I right now did not see an overall release date, so hopefully we get something soon, or something like later this year, or a little bit of next year. But next we have from Drinkbox Studios, the same indie team that has developed Guacamelee. We get Blighted, a brand new Metroidvania action RPG with a unique psychedelic Western aesthetic. Now, this was revealed during the Day of the Devs, and Blighted is set to launch in 2026 for PC and consoles. So we will actually be able to navigate, when we're actually looking at the trailer, you're navigating like the supernatural, like infection like world, and it's like a bunch of grotesque creatures, and we get to harness the blight itself, which will overall dynamically alter like our gameplay, our enemies, and even player stats. The game features like intense timing based combat, the ability to consume like boss memories for new skills, and of course there's going to be some form of multiplayer from what I was reading. But it's a surreal mythology where, like, you know, memories are stored in brain-seeded trees, promising a truly unique and unsettling adventure. So there's a lot that they announced at the Day of the Devs. There's a lot of indie games dropping, but this game right here really took the cake for, like, this is going to be a cool RPG to go in. Has more of an isometric view, so it's not going to be like your true native like Metroidvania, but it's definitely going to be something quite similar to a lot of that. So definitely stay tuned for Blighted. If there's any more information that releases or any other details, because once again, with everything on this list, a lot of things are subject to change, so a lot of things could change throughout until they're fully released. So we still have another year, but just with a little bit of information that I saw when I was live streaming the entire Summers Games Fest, just keep in mind a lot of this stuff can be able to change. But moving forward with a couple of other announcements, which got me super excited. So we're getting a bunch of anticipated games that are coming out. So our next set of announcement takes us across just a bunch of different landscapes, from like ancient China to space. Starting off with the ancient China part, we got Wuchang Fallen Feathers, which is a game that I've been closely looking at. Or every time the dev team posts a new Twitter like clip about the game. It's published by 505 Games, developed by Lindsay Games as well. Showcased a new trailer at the Summers Games Fest. This action RPG is heavily inspired by Souls-like combat and wuxia-based style of fighting. It is set in the final years of the Ming Dynasty, and it's plagued by warring factions and as well as creatures. Now, we can expect intricate swordplay, very similar to Phantom Blade Zero, that fluid combat, that almost wuxia supernatural like fighting, and I just can't wait to get my hands on it. It's gonna have like this challenging experience, and it's gonna have a huge focus on like active defensive movement, customizable weapon styles. But Wuchang Fallen Feathers is stated for a July 24th release, so this is not even a month away. We're gonna get it on all consoles as well as PC, and it did seem like it may be a day one Game Pass. So for all my Game Pass people like me myself, this may be a nice little thing to grab day one, but we'll see as more information comes out. We still are a month away for the Game Pass, because sometimes Game Pass is finicky. It can be on Game Pass. There's been times games were announced for Game Pass and it never released for Game Pass, so we'll just have to keep that in mind. Now, the space part, you know, if any of you really like space-specific games, now their Owlcat Games has announced the Expanse Osiris Reborn. So this game is actually based off of the actual critically acclaimed The Expanse series. Now, I'm not too familiar with the Expanse series at all, so it is definitely something new for me. But what really made me think about this, like really want to put this game on the list, is that this is a third-person sci-fi action RPG based on the series, but we will actually be able to step into the shoes of some mercenary that is caught in a solar system-wide conspiracy. It is a story-driven RPG that emphasizes player choices, which could shape some relationships with some of the crew, impact the narrative, and the gameplay. Just by looking at the overall trailer, it's a cover focused gunplay, special abilities. There's companions that you'll be able to fight along with as we just explore some of the iconic locations that is in the series, like Ganymede, and Ceres. And right now the game is listed as just coming soon for both PC and console. So if some of you are overall fans of the original Expanse series, definitely let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this, because it is definitely new to me. But overall, just by looking at it as is, it looks like a very fun game that I would definitely like to get my hands on as well. And of course, finally, which was the biggest news that threw me off, all of our JRPG enthusiasts and anime fans alike, we received 2 massive reveals that currently right now is setting the entire internet on fire right now. So first things first, after much speculation, Atlus has officially revealed Persona 4 Revival, which this is a complete full remake of Persona 4, bringing the classic RPG experience to modern platforms with huge enhancements on the graphics. We get some enhanced mechanics, and honestly, we get that same unforgettable blend of social simulation, building the relationships through social links with the investigation team, and that nice turn-based combat as well. I'm a huge fan of Persona 3, huge fan of Persona 4, and as well as 5. So we're the fact that people who have never got a chance to play Persona 4, you can now play it again. It's been so long since I last touched Persona 4, so I definitely can't wait to jump back in. Same thing when the Persona 3 Reload came out. Like, dude, last time I touched Persona 3 was back almost 20 years ago at this point. So I'm like, it's real good to finally get back into these games after so long, refresh my memory on this stuff, and hop back in. So it is stated for consoles, PC, and also it is stated for a Xbox Game Pass as well, very similar to Persona 3 Reload being on the Game Pass as well. Last but not certainly not least, another anime-based game is coming out. The popular manhwa and anime Solo Leveling is getting a new console as well as PC adaptation, which is called Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive. Now, not even a year after the fact that they made the mobile game for Solo Leveling, now we are actually getting a full-blown enhanced version of the existing mobile RPG, but this is bringing a 4-player co-op action RPG to Xbox and PC, with it being released in fall of 2025 and for PC, and Xbox Series X and S and Xbox Cloud is getting a later date. We will actually be able to continue Sung Jin-woo's journey from being a weak hunter to becoming the Monarch of Shadows, engaging in dynamic / stylish combat. You can summon the shadow armies, experience the original story with a new and exclusive adventure. So I definitely can't wait to check that out. If you have not either watched season 1 or season 2, or have you not read the manhwa, definitely be careful, because it more likely will probably be spoilers. But for some of you who probably want to relive through the story, like kind of like how like the old Naruto games, like they would do a good chunk from like beginning to end of certain parts of like the arcs. So I have a feeling they'll be doing something like that very similar. But man, this past weekend was a good chunk, a lot of like announcements for RPGs, man. We got the Souls-likes, we got the MMOs, we got narrative-driven RPGs, and a lot of the anticipated remake. Summer's Games Fest and the rest of the showcases have certainly delivered, in my opinion. I'll be keeping a close eye on all of these titles as more information becomes available, because right now a lot of this information was not really available when they first were being announced. So that's all for today's episode. Definitely stay tuned for more news and as well as in-depth analysis of RPGs. But I want you guys to stay safe out there. It's been your host, Chaos DTV, signing out. Peace.